John 8, verse 7 says, He who without sin cast the first stone. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone. I'll wait. Jesus went into the Mount of Olives, and early in the morning he came again into the temple, and all the people came unto him, and he sat down and taught them. And the scribes and the Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery, and when they had set her in the midst, they say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery, in the very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned. But what sayest thou? This they said, tempting him, that they might have to accuse him. But Jesus stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground as though he heard them not. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. And again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. And they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the eldest, even unto the last. And Jesus was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. When Jesus had lifted up himself and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, Woman, where are those thine accusers? Hath no man condemned thee? She said, No man, Lord. And Jesus said unto her, Neither do I condemn thee. Go and sin no more. So if Jesus himself can forgive this woman and protect this woman even in her sin, who are we and who are you as the man of God, as a child of God or woman of God? Who are you to condemn this woman or this young lady who has gotten pregnant out of wedlock? I myself got pregnant out of wedlock. I myself prayed to God to bless me with a baby, someone who I can love unconditionally and who would love me unconditionally as well. And what did God do? He allowed me to get pregnant. He allowed me to have a baby who is now 12 years old. Who are we to judge this woman's life or determine why God placed this baby in her life? Who are you to tell her she can't be showered for this baby, for the blessing that God has bestowed upon her? God is showing us the Bible is being weaponized. Preachers are weaponizing the Bible, not just the people. Preachers are weaponizing the Bible to fit their narrative, to go along with their teachings or their sermon or whatever, and it's not right. So now we have a church full of people who have just sinned because they're judging this young lady. We are not the judge, okay? We are not the judge, and we are not to judge anyone for the decisions that they have made and for their walk and their journey with Christ. So who are you, sir, ma'am, church? This is why there are people who have strayed away from the church, who have had the hardest time to find a church home who is loving and have open arms and understanding and fully understand the word of God and not using it to go with their narrative. You get what I'm saying? And this is why these days non-denominational churches are, in my opinion, and in my opinion does not stand for nobody else, but in my opinion, to seek and try out a non-denomination. And there are so many denominations that, whatever works best for you or fit best for you, do that, of course. I grew up Baptist, but now I'm non-denominational. So I prefer to be surrounded by love and light and to learn the word of God and to not be judged or feel like I'm being judged for decisions that I've made. And I'm fully aware that we go through life and we're going to have trials and tribulations. How else will we grow? How else will we see for ourselves that we need God? Everything that I've went through and experienced in my life, Lord knows I have a testimony, but I am not comfortable sharing it. But God knows everything that I went through, it brought me closer to him. Even during a time where I was confused about him, where I was confused on what religion was, even though I grew up in the church, even though I grew up reading the Bible for myself, there are things and people, of course, out in the world that can deter your mindset or whatever. But it still stands that no matter what, at the end of it, I always got brought back to Jesus. Always. If you have faith the size of a mustard seed, nothing will be impossible for you. And we must understand that everyone's journey and everyone's walk is going to be different. And my message is just solely, and the reason I even felt moved to make this post is because we should, who are we to judge? And I don't even normally involve myself in controversial things or anything like that, but me knowing my own journey and my own testimony and my own reasons, and how far God has brought me, Lord, who are we to judge? Jesus. Luke chapter 6, verse 37 says, pause and read it. I can read it for you. Judge not, and you shall not be judged. Condemn not, and you shall not be condemned. Forgive, and you shall be forgiven. So, I said all of that just to say, you need to know him for yourself. You need to read it for yourself. Do not let nobody, no man, no woman, no human, no social media, no TV, no none of that, no news, change nothing that God has set out for you. Search and seek for yourself and go from there. Well, they say everybody in the church ain't saved. So I'll leave y'all with that. Love y'all. Happy Wednesday.